Welcome back to the weekly headlines. I'm Kevin Hart.
I'm Mike Wimmacher.
And let's get to the news. Because suing the governor worked out so well for him, Darren Bailey has decided he's going to come for his job instead. Bailey went from an unknown to right-wing darling overnight when he and Thomas, winning cases isn't my goal, DeVore, tried to hold Pritzker in contempt of court for something. I don't really remember. I don't care either. Bailey thinks the way to Illinoisans' hearts is to attempt to take away their pensions. And now, well, some of the Pritzker sucks and stop the steal crowd think this is great. The majority of people realize you're a charlatan when you attempt to screw with their money.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker received a shot of the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine earlier this week. Pritzker got the shot at the mass vaccination clinic run by the Illinois National Guard at the Orr Building on the Illinois State Fairgrounds. When Pritzker rolled up his sleeve to receive the shot, Republicans immediately wanted to finally discuss gun reform legislation.
Multiple mass shootings have happened recently. I guess we're getting back to normal. And that's not exactly an original sarcastic remark, by the way, which is sad. And like clockwork, the Republicans don't want to talk about gun reform, claiming Democrats are taking their rights away, and which, aside from what about Antifa, is the only defense Republicans have for anything. Ted Cruz is so dense, he didn't realize how tone-deaf his first sentence in his argument was the other day. Every time there's a mass shooting, I'd say read the room, but after the Dr. Seuss stunts pulled by Senate Republicans, reading is probably pretty hard for them.
President Joseph Rubber Band Man Biden had a difficult time with the stairs on Air Force One late last week. Biden was attempting to jog up the stairs when he tumbled not once, not twice, but 3 times. Biden eventually held on to both handrails, made it to the top, giving a salute before heading inside the plane. Well, Joe, if you had any hopes of starring in a Rocky reboot, looks like they've been tripped up.
With more people being vaccinated and slowly getting back to somewhat of a normal, the moratorium on disconnecting people from their utilities due to being behind in their bills ends next week. Now, you can prevent this by contacting your local utility that you use. Now, I'm not going to criticize any company for trying to collect on unpaid bills and make money as well. That's what a lot of businesses have to do. But the moratorium ends on April 1st. April 1st! It's got to be the worst April Fool's prank ever. I mean, oh.
A $1 million winning Powerball ticket was sold in Springfield last weekend. The ticket for last Saturday's drawing was purchased at the Quick and Easy on North Grand Avenue. Now, store officials say the purchaser is a regular customer who buys tickets for every Powerball drawing at the store. So, if you live on the North End, expect an uptick in fireworks and empty Busch Light cans.
George W. Bush is facing criticism for his delayed response to the Capitol insurrection, waiting over 2 months to say anything. Well, he's nothing if not consistent, I guess. This happened last week, but to honor the former president, I waited longer than necessary. In a couple of years, I'm sure we'll have some calming remarks about this new COVID-19 virus we've been hearing so much about.
Former retired Florida man's lawyer Sidney Powell, seen here enjoying Scorpion rip out Sub-Zero's spine, has made an interesting defense in the defamation case brought against her by Dominion Voting Systems. Now, Dominion is suing Powell for $1.3 billion, saying she spread false and inaccurate information about the company after the election. Powell is now trying to get the case thrown out by arguing that no reasonable person would believe her election fraud claims. Sidney, at this point, no reasonable person is actually believing you're a lawyer.
Zack Snyder's new cut of the Justice League has been out for about a week and has gotten a surprisingly positive response, even from people who hadn't decided that this new cut was the best movie ever 3 years ago. Yes, this superhero movie, that might I remind you is 30 minutes longer than The Irishman in a VHS-friendly aspect ratio comprised of like 3.5 colors and is 10% slow-mo shots, is DC's best recent superhero movie. To be fair, the new cut does flesh out the characters and cut some of the unnecessary things, but 4 hours long? Was the Joker making a reach-around joke and these women singing a farewell song that important?
Chicago Bulls made a big trade on Thursday, acquiring all-star big man Nikolai Vucevic from the Orlando Magic in a deal that saw the Bulls send Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and 2 first-round draft picks to Orlando. Many NBA experts had high praise for the deal. Meanwhile, Chicago Bears GM Ryan Pace asked if Vucevic had any quarterbacking experience. And those are your weekly headlines. I'm Mike Wimmacher.
I'm Kevin Hart.
And we are out of here!